Tryna live a life like she never lived before. Told her mama live it all. Bet she can't get enough. Yeah. Bet she can't get enough. Yeah, yeah. I met this chick when I was young. She let me kiss her with my tongue. Back then I thought that shit was cool. Yeah, yeah. Her loving giving me chills, yeah. These feelings feeling familiar. I just want somebody real, yeah. I wanna feel something real. Her loving giving me chills, yeah. These feelings feeling familiar. I just want somebody real.
Let's get on this motherfucking short, man.
I'ma take the chance, I'ma let the dice fly. Hoping that all of my friends never go bye-bye. Ever since she left me, I've been in my mind sky high. And I'm starting to forget my memories, time flies. Feeling lost, I'ma go for a heart if I need it. Diamonds cold, they on my neck, feel like anemic. And my diamonds cold, they on my neck, they look like Greenland. Rockstar down, feel like her loving giving me chills, yeah. These feelings feeling familiar. I just want somebody real, yeah. I wanna feel something real. Her loving giving me chills, yeah. These feelings feeling familiar. I just want somebody real, yeah. I wanna feel something real, yeah. I don't wanna fall back. Baby told me that we won't relapse. She's like a drug that I take and I can't let go. And nowadays can't believe that I'm on my own. Hold up, something that I don't get often, off it. Wait, drugs or I'm off. Think that I need to really need to stop. Giving me chills, yeah. These feelings feeling familiar. I just want somebody real, yeah. I wanna feel something real. Her loving giving me chills, yeah.
Yo. Where the confetti, niggas get shot like the camera ready. Like my shooters work at Polaroid. Niggas got Grammy energy. I got social war, sober thoughts trying to get this liquor. I've been sipping on, living on my last breath. Chopper still sing like it's lab breath. The lab breath, please. I'm richer than Devonport with that holy grail, nigga. I fill it with 7 pores on that brown liquor, drinking till my speech just got a slur, man. I see the cracks, the dimension windows, narrowing. See they use the civil spooks for heroin. Fuck rock though when I'm shooting outside your glass house, freezing until a nigga fall and pass out. Please, never took Zans, I took sensu beans, cold as ice, play tennis with Jesus. Please tell anxiety to suck my dick. I went from panic attack to protect, went from plan of attack to attack, nigga. I'm two-faced any. I can wish a nigga well and drop his gun pennies. I'm invisible. Read it like they on Kindle. Got more bars than self signals. Heart ain't empty, it's sinful, resentful. Cause most of y'all still hating how when your favorite looking up to me like a nosebleed. Nigga, please, I was like you. Took a L as employee, now I'm owner. Diamonds colder than the flu season and ammonia. When the mic's still bloody, nigga, this ain't toner. When the game need hard, I'm a fucking donor. How Alex, I ignorance, get to die, hypocrite, samurai, villainish, danger like a syphilis. I know niggas put the pyramids. I know shit ain't sweet, but some licorice. Cause if you think outside the box, you can get you when the box get down. They already knowing us drugs. I'm the type that throw it back like a shrimp life record. Came back like I resurrected. The fact that the veterans fuck on my nemesis. And they just the relatives, not playing with your averages. It's flattering, think you fuck with you? Negative, fuck your girl right back to sleep like a sedative. The crown on my cranium is next.
Going crazy, yeah. Going ludicrous, yeah. Why you do this? I'm true to this.
No. What do 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 do? The fuck is that? Oh, bruh. Bruh.
This is hard still. I like this one. Oh, what? Oh, okay. This one's the one that's trending, is it? Cool, cool. Let me get the other one in a sec then. Cool. Thanks. Head over to mine, she wiping her face, cornrows out, she dashing the lace, not seen her in days, can't make her an ex, she down to the bone, she drinking like rays, back then crime pays, posting pics, Snapchat days, used to do mileage, my weekend started on Fridays, I'm loving that two-piece set you got, don't follow no trends, don't hop on, me and a man don't move the same, I'm online before they hop on, I'm telling them man just jog on, used to work on the net like .com, my laws just changed right from wrong, yeah, I'm just not a real big spender. I wasn't even trying to offend her. Then the days might go on a bender. If she down, I'll go on and bend her. I'm tugging these pieces, Jenga overseas. I ship it like vendor. Take more than a month to render, but it comes in clean Lenga. Jeans stay oversized, the hoodie came oversized, her back came oversized. I'm looking so hypnotized, I'm rubbing my flipping eyes, yeah. I couldn't believe how them man died, was never the one they counted. She didn't believe I went and just found it, playing me, telling to sound it. If you know, I'm into you, what's all this game about? I'm similar, but oh no, I don't chase, I bounce. Come ride in the coupe, be my masseuse, turn this one to two. Making you choose, step with me, you never snooze. If you know, I'm into you, what's all this game about? I'm similar, but oh no, I don't chase, I bounce. Come ride in the coupe, be my masseuse, turn this one to two. Making you choose, step with me, you never snooze. Tropical rhythm, I'm feeling the tears, she see me, she moving her waist. Days, they go so quick when you constantly on the chase, grabbing the loot. I got a bounty, slow replies like babe, just allow me. When I see her, I'm fixing it all like she be my cowgirl, I'm saying howdy. If she coming pretty petite or thicker than me, come hop in my seat. Glee, her singing to me, yee. This one is out of your reach. Sleep, it don't mean nothing to me. I'm making it work by the end of the week. Cardigans with the cargo's peak, I'm dashing that fleece, don't rock that please. Bad BZ in that sushi, cocktail date, she busting the coochie. Magnum sipping on duty, handy cam when I'm cruising. Nobody's perfect, still they won't judge you. Got me thinking like, let's watch how they on you when your plans work out and it just happen like. All that flexing don't really impress me, no. The man envy, gotta watch how your friends be, oh. Don't watch her just swipe and scroll. Back then used to get pins, no bowl. The money just comes in slow, but it's deeper when I reach the end goal. If you know, I'm into you, what's all this game about? I'm similar, but oh no, I don't chase, I bounce. Come ride in the coupe, be my masseuse, turn this one to two. Making you choose, step with me, you never snooze. If you know, I'm into you, what's all this game about?
City
Hey,
kinda
Luke.
fucked up right now. I know, pops. Murder after murder. Bake the bake. No run that motherfucking gang, nigga. Know I know. Ain't none of my niggas crash. And that's something you to motherfucking top, nigga. Montana. Yeah, I'ma stand on that. I got it on my mind, yeah. Whole lot of bullets flying, yeah. All my niggas slanging nine, yeah. On my mama, I ain't lying. These niggas be bitches, these bitches looking at the sky. They claiming that they real, but I can see it in their eyes. You know I'm out that gang, and you know that I won't stop. Don't go against the grain, bitch, we headed to the top. Get a fuck them, you know how to fuck with right. Hey, what you do right here? Hey, we taking over 2KT on my mama, nigga. And no back with my niggas, all the time we. The night still young. You live by the gun, you gon' die by the gun. Ain't no handouts for nobody. When they ain't have shit, they ain't offer me nothing. When I'm quiet, I be thinking about killing. A lot of nigga bitch may stay in they feelings. Saving these hoes, this shit here pitiful. All these little bitty bitch my chillings. And mama, don't worry, you raised a gangster. I'm a survivor. It hurt me not being able to give you what you want since I was a toddler. Shout out to my pops, father, free game. Everything you ever told me is stuck in my brain. Real OG status and like to make a change. Shed the tears right in this since so much pain. All the shite shit that I've done, blessed not being no chains. Killed me when I was young, mom blessed the boy with the cocaine. Growing up, I ain't have no daddy. My mama played both roles. Been hard on a nigga since I came out the womb. Yeah, the pussy hole. I was taught to trust none. Face your problem, never run. Steady calling my phone. I done told you before that it's over. Leave me alone. No, it's hurting you to see me gone. Dark clouds, you gon' see me storm. I won't go back. But trust me, you gon' hold that. Hold that.
The dogs.
I ain't tryna play these games no more. I don't wanna be touching your name no more. I ain't tryna feel this
Shit.
pain no
Maybe I
more.
should
Sorry
have
that my
taken it,
feelings ain't
but
the same no more. Used to
that
be
was
my
not
homie, you ain't gang no
my.
more. I am
What
not
the
a nigga you
this
can
one
claim no
available?
more.
No, I would have been
Traumatized,
in,
hoping
but
it don't rain no more. You done put me through some things that done changed my aura.
no.
Now all around the world I explore no Dora. New bitch, I'ma drip out in the Euro. Ass fast, shorty straight heat, no Florida. Bad as she do it for herself, I applaud her. No need, yeah, I'm talking my boo. So please, leave me alone, I'm through. And it's all cause once you started, I been told you I'm gonna lose. Steady calling my phone. I done told you before that
God,
it's
it's
over.
over.
Leave me
Leave me
alone. No,
alone.
it's hurting you to see me
Leave me
gone. Dark
alone.
clouds, you gon' see me storm. I won't go
Freak.
back.
It's the
But trust
freaking
me, you gon'
entrance.
hold that.
Alright.
Hold that.
Fuck that.
I ain't
No
tryna
more
play no
pain
games, my
and no
love.
more.
I'm one of a kind, couldn't fake my love. Earthquake makes some shake, my love. Most of them can't even relate, my love. Used to be gang, oh now you're not gang. Used to have fun, oh now you got shame. Used to catch flights, but now I'm not playing. Play on words, she love it when a nigga sing. I ain't tryna play your game no more. No, you can't wear my chain no more. We are not a thing, can't take no more. Waiting on your king, you can wait some more. Yeah, I remember days when I used to adore her. Funny how this shit just flipped like a quarter. Get a new thing, I'm a Fendi and Dior. Get a mood swing, I'll be
You wanna
gone by
get into a
tomorrow. Steady calling my
short.
phone. I done told you before that it's over. Leave me alone. No, it's hurting you to see me
Boom.
gone. Dark clouds, you gon' see me storm. I won't go back. But trust me, you gon' hold that. Hold that.
I know I got religion. I belong to the Northern crew. You see, we shout when we get happy. That's the way we Christians do. Oh,
Have you been tried in that fire? I heard bullets sing higher than Mariah and choir. Spent a lot of time trapping, now I'm trying to retire. But this shit runs in my blood and I'm the guy they require. Yeah, these guns don't bring nothing but prison and death. Still, all my niggas just admire the fire. Bro, squeeze any miss, but we admire a trier. Finesse kid, you can never lie to a liar. And Fred got the fire, I fire for days. I gotta write them in my notes, they'll be igniting a page. Grinding in cold nights, putting light to the flame. Now there's no flame that can melt the ice in my chain. Yeah, I really put the ice and rice with the cane. Me and Santan, you won't see nothing like this again. That's my young boys again, on the glide with the flame. I just really hope your block came with fire escapes. Before my entrance, I took the fire exit, tried and tested, about 20 times arrested, 2 times guilty, no comment, I guess they guessed it, couple times bail, no forensics, this a DZ pendant, I don't need a necklace, we stay protected and connected, it's the energies I'm blessed with, and now they watching like Netflix, had me doing next shit, trying to get rich, but what's rich, took more losses than Boris, I sold more boxes than the post office, 21 in jail, it took me so solid, why you think my vision's sick, I changed the game with my brain, and so robotics, if you fell in my fire, you probably roast on it. Heat up the stove and put a hope on it. Cause they don't care about our lives, I put my soul on it. I'm done trying to be somebody to some nobodies. I'm being so honest, and they don't know porridge.
Fire burning while I'm watching higher learning. Guns busting, tigers turning, that's a Russian and a German. That's your phone ringing, you can hear the beat. By the bell when you hear the screech, and it's so deep. Open, ocean. There's man escaping some shells they can barely see. Me and bro raising hell, we gon' share the heat. Then put us in the same cell, we gon' share the sleep. I'm my brother's keeper, deeper. I'm my brother's leader, speaker. I'm the eldest, the one who had to make
Damn,
the
bro.
name so the bells ring. So nobody would trouble my siblings in this whirlwind. My older cousin wasn't known for nothing. Never had no one I could call, but I was
Good.
holding something. I'm digging deep with this tool like I'm known for plumbing. Something in your chest like it's Robitussin. Word to arseness, I burnt artists. I stood in front of all 3 dragons and heard Jakaris. And now we're jumping out G-Wagons and murking parties. Man are coming out with these bangers and dirty dancing. Nobody puts baby in a corner. I uplift my girl like I'm Swayze in the water. And if it's already written, maybe I'm the author. So accustomed to the fire, I get shivers when I'm naked in the sauna. How? Many times have they mistaken me for Scorcher. I'm looking in the mirror saying, Justin, just call us and get all downstairs and tell them just bring me water. So gets I put something in the formula. I'm focused, I don't need to burn a kush. This is Moses speaking to the burning bush. I stood in front of the fire and learned to cook. Finished my verse and never heard a hook.
Riskiest numbers, this jungle stick for your youngers. Keys picked off the fungus, kept humble, slipped in my 100. Yeah, in the dungeon, those Air Max, which nigga stung them? Can't walk in my shoes, you could be risking a bunion. The government's twisted, I cover this shift to cover this Christmas. Forget them old friends, I'm done with those pictures. They color coded, my brothers and sisters. Run the rhythm, you're a brother but you running with him. Try accusing me of colorism. Blinded cause you look at me with tunnel vision. I was falling, but I've gone and risen. Is this nigga trusty or Sideshow Bob when he's creeping on crusty? Streets keep me tussling, people disgust me. Racist disease, that shit that disgusts me. Don't touch me on the streets with a sweeper, cause the streets pretty dusty. And I've always got love for genuine people that bust me. Santan and the gang advisor, I'ma check him out, I'ma analyzer. He was calling me.
Nobody's really murderers. These are all out of Minnesota, just Minnesota. I say, why don't you talk about that more? Because people don't know. Do you want to live with these people? International murder. These are people that are living, they're apprehended and either put in jails in their country from where they came, and the countries respect us, and so they actually put them there. In the old days, they didn't respect our country. Biden wouldn't do this because he let them all in. You know, if you didn't have open border policies of Biden, none of this, all of the things that all of the time that we spend talking about Minnesota and everything else, most of them are coming from out of the country. And it's been caused by a previous administration. Look at this, one after one. Boy, these are rough characters. These are all criminal, illegal aliens that, in many cases, they're murderers, they're drug lords, drug dealers, they're the mentally insane. There's some of them who are brutal killers, they're mentally insane. They're killers, but they're insane. These are just in Minnesota. California, it's worse. In other states, it's worse. Now, Minnesota, the crime is incredible. The financial crimes are incredible. And the problem is because of the agitators and insurrectionists, whatever you want, troublemakers, but they're paid agitators and insurrectionists. Nobody talks about the fact that $19 billion at a minimum is missing in Minnesota, given to a large degree by Somalians. They've taken it. Somalians, can you imagine? And they don't do it. A lot of very low IQ people, they don't do it. Other people work it out, and they get them money, and they go out and buy Mercedes-Benzes, and they come from here, they have no money. They never had money. They never had a life. They never had a government. They never had a country, because there's basically no country. Somalia is not even a country. They don't have anything that resembles a country. And if it is a country, it's considered just about the worst in the world. They come here and they become rich and they don't have a job. I was told that Ilhan Omar is worth $30 million. She never had a job. She's a crooked congressman. So here's another one. And I have, oh, by the way, we just took out, these are all what ICE is doing. And it's a dangerous job. These are rough people. Weapons. This one here is very bad. I'm going through this because I think we have plenty of time. I'm going to beautiful place in Switzerland where we'll be, I'm sure I'm very happily awaited for. In Switzerland, they don't know about this. They don't have this problem. They have other problems, but they don't have this problem. Look, killed somebody. Look, and these are rough people. These are not, this was all allowed into our country through open borders. These dumbest policies, you know, men and women's sports is dumb. But to me, having an open border for the world to come in, drug dealers and prisoners, Venezuela, as an example, opened their prisons into the United States. That's why one of the reasons I felt so strongly against Venezuela. Now I'm loving Venezuela. They've been working with us so well. It's been so nice. And an unbelievably nice woman also did a very incredible thing, as you know, a few days ago. We're talking to her, and maybe we can get her involved in some way. I'd love to be able to do that. Maria, maybe we can do that. But we're dealing with the people and the president and all of the people in Venezuela, and we've been doing great. The oil companies are getting ready to make massive investments there. They have more oil than even Saudi Arabia. There you go. These are rough. This is all Minnesota, every one of them. This is one state out of many. And these people are, let's see, yeah, these are all, so far, people that came from outside of the country. They were allowed in by Sleepy Joe Biden, Crooked Joe Biden, whichever you like. You can call him whatever you like. They're both right. He's sleepy and he's crooked. He was the worst president we've ever had. And we've had some bad ones, too. I can tell you all you have to do is look at trade. You're not getting bored with this, right? I hope you don't. But these are people that you have to see. Strong arm rape, aggravated assault with a weapon, and many other crimes. Gang member, known as one of the toughest people around. These are tough people. So this is what the people are trying to protect, because all ICE wants to do is get them out of our country, bring them to prisons and jails and mental institutions from where they came. That's all they want to do. They're patriots, and they have to be abused by guys like Don Lemon, who's a loser, lightweight. I saw him the way he walked in that church. It was terrible. I have such respect for that pastor. He was so calm. He was so nice. He was just accosted. What they did in that church was horrible yesterday. Look at it here. 24 convictions. 24 times convicted. They're not charges. These are convictions. So he comes from outside the country. Do you think he's going to be good here? He's convicted 24 times. He's going to be good here, right? It doesn't work that way. It's a man murder. It's one of many. One of many. All they want to do is get him out. They want to take him out of our country. And we're met with paid agitators and insurrectionists, troublemakers. They're paid. You know, when the woman was shot, and I felt terribly about that. And I understand both sides of it. But when she was shot, there was another woman that was screaming shame, 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 right? You saw it. So loud. Like a professional opera singer. She was so loud and so professional. She wasn't a woman that was hurt, like, oh, my heart's injured. She was a professional. She's shame, shame. She's screaming shame, shame. I said, that's not a normal person. That's a professional. These are professional agitators and professional people that want to see our country do badly. But that's not happening because we have the hottest country anywhere in the world, despite this stuff. Look at this. All top of the line criminals. They're not going to be good. They're not going to be well behaved here. I could do thousands. We had over 3,000 in the last fairly short while. Just in Minnesota. What's the number, Carol? 10,000. 10,000
criminals arrested in Minnesota alone.
10,000 criminals. And these are serious criminals. Now, how can a place with 10,000 criminals, how can you have a state? And yet they're fighting us. Yeah, I like that guy. Keeps nodding to me. You agree with me, I guess. I like him. I don't know who he is, but I like him. He keeps nodding. He says, you're right. He's obviously a little on the right side, maybe. Look. These are rough ones. So we just took this off a stack. We have many stacks like this. Like, I could go 30 times what I'm showing you now. Relations with Hezbollah, that's nice. Why do we allow them in our country? I'm just looking at these charges. It's just pretty incredible. Many murderers, many murderers. People that murdered. So what ICE does, and Border Patrol is incredible, too. I mean, Paul Perez and that group is incredible. Mostly Hispanic, by the way. They're like 60% Hispanic. You know, they talk about Hispanic. They're mostly Hispanic, right? And they're unbelievable people. And then they say, oh, we discriminate against. I love Hispanic. They are unbelievable. Entrepreneurial. They have everything. I did great. I did the highest. Nobody ever got numbers like I got from the standpoint of being a Republican. But even if you look at Texas, I won the entire border along Texas, between Texas and Mexico. It never happened before. Nobody's ever done that before. I did it. As a Republican, I did it. I love the Hispanic. And they accuse us of all sorts of things. 60% of the people we're talking about, they're the best people we have, and they're Hispanic. The Border Patrol is largely Hispanic. ICE is largely Hispanic. They're unbelievable people. I don't know how they can take the abuse. They're taking rough people like this, like all of them. We have 10,000 at least. I could have done 10,000 of them. You're lucky I only did like 100. And this isn't even the worst of the group. They have murderers. They have some people we can't use their picture for legal reasons, but they're up for murder in their own country. And we jeopardize their case. When we send them back and we coordinate with other countries. A tremendous amount of work. All allowed in here by an open border policy of the worst president in the history of our country. A man that didn't win the election, by the way, it was a rigged election. Everybody knows that now. And by the way, numbers are coming out that show it even more plainly. We caught him. So I just want you to know that it's a terrible thing. Here's the book on accomplishments. And this is something, I'm glad my finger wasn't in that sucker. That could have done some damage, but you know what? I wouldn't have shown the pain. I would have gone back. Boy, did you hear that? That was nasty. But I would not have shown the pain. I would have acted like nothing happened as my finger fell off. That was nasty. I think somebody did that. It was him. It was my man. How were you? You didn't do it. I know you did. I know you didn't. So, but here's the book. These are all things we have. I'm going to read a few of the samples, but look at this. These are all, each line is something that we did. Nobody did that before. And it's big stuff, too. Look, we have the hottest country in the world. So, I will read you a few. We ended Biden's stagflation. We were in stagflation. That's a disaster. That's far worse than inflation. As you know, he had the biggest inflation in the history of our country. They say 48 years. Pick your choice. But they had the biggest inflation in the history of our country. We have it right down to a normal number now. We're going to get it even a little bit lower. Created super high. What we've done with growth is incredible. We created super high economic growth, and America is booming. It's booming. There are thousands of businesses right now that are being built. Many of the biggest factories in the world are being built right in our country. They're not going to other countries. They're leaving other countries. Fourth quarter GDP is on track to pass perhaps much more than 5% growth, and that's despite the fact that we had a Democrat shutdown. They shut down our country, and we had 5%. Nobody in this room has ever heard about 5%. I think it could be 20% if we do it right. If we don't, every time we have good numbers, they raise interest rates. You shouldn't. In the old days, if you had good numbers, they'd lower interest rates, or they wouldn't do anything. Here, they try and kill it. They always try and kill success. Over the last 20, 25 years, that's the way. In the old days, if you had good numbers, the market would go through the roof. Today, if you have good numbers, the market goes down. But by the way, we've had the best stock market in history, the best 401ks in history, and we inherited a mess. The numbers that we inherited were way up, and now we brought them, almost all of them, way down. We brought them way down. I mean, I'm not getting. Maybe I have the bad public relations people, but we're not getting it across. We inherited high numbers and we brought them way down. And look at gasoline. They have places in the country now, $1.99 a gallon. $1.99, $2.30, $2.50. I guess the average now they're saying is $2.31. I mean, he was at $4.50 and $5 for periods of time. And he went back to the Trump formula, but he didn't do it properly, and he really went back to parts of it because you would have had $8 gasoline if they didn't, but he didn't do it properly. He had people that didn't know what they were doing. Core inflation for the last 3 months is 1.6%. 1.6. Their core inflation was so high that nobody could even calculate it. Under Biden, real incomes declined $3,000. Think of that, $3,000. That's a year. In 12 months, Trump real incomes went up by $2,000 and $3,000 and even in some cases $5,000. It's a tremendous difference. Stock market has set 52 all-time record highs during the course of the 11 months, because this was done on 11 months. Now we are actually officially 12 months as of today. 52 all-time record highs. That means 401ks did great. I have 401ks through the roof. My wife thinks I'm the greatest genius, that I'm a financial genius, like Warren Buffett. He told me that. He said, I think they have better returns than Warren Buffett right now. But he said, all my life, my wife has been criticizing me for not being smart financially. Now, all of a sudden, she loves me more. But we added $9 trillion in value to retirement accounts, saving many people. I mean, they were going out of business. Think of it. We added $9 trillion of value to retirement accounts, savings accounts, and 401ks. That's during the course of 12 months. And I think it's probably 11 months because I don't think they have it for the 12. They have it for the 11. Added $9 trillion of value. Lifted more than 1.2 million Americans off food stamps in 1 year. They would have had another 1.2 million. We would have had, welfare would have gone up. And instead of investing $18 trillion in our country, now it's probably more than that, but 18 trillion and having thousands of plants being built all over the country, you would have had thousands of plants closing all over the country, and you would have had disinvestment, and you would have had welfare going way up. You know, if you look at SNAP, take a look at SNAP, what happened with that? Was it $7 billion? And it came out to over $51 billion. Nobody has ever seen anything like it. The past administration, they had no clue. Or they were really bad, but they basically had no clue. But they did have a concept. I mean, they're still trying to sell the idea of men playing in women's sports. You saw that in the Supreme Court. I mean, some of those justices were fighting for them, too. They were fighting for them. But you saw that just the other day in the Supreme Court. Men playing in women's sport doesn't work. Secured a record-breaking $18 trillion in commitments for new investments. Apple, NVIDIA, SoftBank, Oracle, TSMC, Johnson & Johnson, Eli Lilly and Company, Micron, AstraZeneca, General Motors, Hyundai, Ford, Honda, GE Aerospace, many, many others. I left a Ford plant a week ago in Michigan that they were going to close 2 years ago, and now they just announced that they're going 24 hours around the clock making cars. Tariffs did it. I don't know what the Supreme Court's going to do. I think to me it reads so plainly. Couldn't be plainer. You're allowed to do a license. Tariff is probably less severe than what a license could be. But think of it. You're allowed to do a license, and then they have a clause at the end, something to the effect, or what is necessary, something to that effect. And what is necessary with tariffs. I don't know where there's a case even there, but we've taken in hundreds of billions of dollars, and if we lose that case, it's possible we're going to have to do the best we can in paying it back. I don't know how that's going to be done very easily without hurting a lot of people. But we're waiting for that case anxiously, and we have tremendous national security because of tariffs and tremendous income. You know, we have, and by the way, no inflation. So everyone said, oh, tariffs will cause inflation. We have no inflation. We have very little inflation. Biden had inflation, and he didn't do tariffs. We had a huge problem. We have a 62% reduction in our trade deficit. So if you had a 1% reduction, a normal president would have a 1%, 2% reduction. Everybody would be high-fiving. At a 62% reduction, next year we won't have a trade deficit. We secured most favored nations agreements to slash drug prices by as much. And to me, I think this might be the biggest thing of all. We get zero talk about it. The New York Times had a story way in the back of the paper, a little story about it. think it's the biggest thing there is. When you talk about healthcare, drug prices will go down more than ever before for any country because we were priced at such a level that we were subsidizing the entire world, big place of the world. We were paying 10, 12, 13 times more than other countries. 13 times more, not 13%, 13 times more. A pill that was selling in London for $10 would sell in New York for $130. It's 13 times. More than that even. But we secured most favored nations agreements to slash drug prices by as much as 300, 400, 500, and even 600%, including with Pfizer, AstraZeneca, Eli Lilly, Nova Nordisk, Gilead Sciences, EMD, Serenio, and many others. If you look at some of the prices that are coming down, where a price would come down $1,300 coming down to $87. Think of it. So something that was costing $1,300 is now costing $87. And the fake news doesn't want to write about it. That's why I do this. I don't like to do this, to be honest with you. But I do it because got to get the word out. We signed one big, beautiful bill. I call it the Great Big Beautiful Bill, delivering the largest tax cuts in history. No tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, no tax on overtime. We made interest on car loans tax deductible for U.S. built automobiles only. So if you buy an automobile built in the United States, we're not doing it for Germany and Canada and different places. We're doing it only if it's built here. We want them to be built here. A lot of the Canadian auto plants are closing and they're moving into the United States. Same thing with Mexico, same thing with Germany, and same thing with Japan and other countries. They're moving into the United States because of tariffs. They don't want to pay the tariffs. It's too much. They can't pay the tariffs. So they're coming here. Nothing different than what other smart countries did, but it works better for us. Under my leadership, it's not done properly, but it's done properly. We have, again, more plants being built than at any time in the history of our country. Passed the largest spending cuts in American history, and that was true in my first. We had a tremendous first term also. We rebuilt our military. We had one of the best. We had the best economy in the history of our country.
Oh, I probably left it on last night when I grabbed the
opening up. You're not going to
pizza
see anything
sauce.
like it probably ever again. We slashed the federal budget deficit by 27% in a single year. Think of that, 27. You know, you could do it 2%, 1%, a half a percent.
Okay.
27%.
We'll go across the hall. I'm going to bring you because I need
And
your help.
that's with all of the things we have to do, all
Okay.
of the people we have to
Are you
put on
on top?
the payroll to get rid of people
No.
that are murderers. Again, when you see people in Minnesota that are murderers, these people are fighting to keep them there. And I say to Christie and to Tom Homan, the great
I would
people,
take it
they're
if it was
working
no
so hard.
one-to-one fucking trade.
Look at the border. The border is now secure. First time. Biden
Against
said you couldn't do it.
3
You
minutes.
need legislation. I had no legislation. I
Last
said
minute.
close the border. Within 1 month, we had almost nobody coming in. Now for the last 8 months, nobody came into our country illegally. And I find that hard to believe because you'd think somebody, because it used to be millions of people just poured into our country. And the people that do that are Democrat sort of aligned. So, I mean, they're not doing me any favors. We had nobody come in. We have a very strong border. We have very few people coming up. They're not going to make the trek because they know they probably won't be coming in. So it's not as hard as you think. But I didn't have to go back. Remember, they said, we need legislation to close the border. They had millions of people coming in a month. We have nobody coming in, and we're getting the murderers out. Murderers, people from prisons and jails. Many countries opened up their prisons and dropped them into the United States. Those are the people we're getting out. And we have a lot of heart. They said, you got to lighten up on this. We have a lot of heart for people. They came in illegally, but they're good people, and they're working now on farms, and they're working in luncheonettes and hotels and all. And we're looking to get the criminals out right now, the criminals. And I think it's very important. I mean, every once in a while you see a story, we take somebody. He should be out because they came in illegally. So in theory they should be, but we're focused on the murderers, the drug dealers, the mentally insane. We have a lot of mentally insane killers. I mean, you can't even talk to them. It'd be nice if you could have a little reason, but you can't even reason. These are seriously ill people. You have a couple of countries where they were loaded up. Their mental institutions and insane asylums were loaded to the gills. They couldn't get. They're empty now, but they're filling up because we're bringing them all back. We know where they came from,
Yo.
and every country accepts them. You know, under Biden, they wouldn't take. They had so little respect that they'd bring them there.
Yeah.
They wouldn't take them. They said, "Get the
Like,
hell
yeah,
out." They would
huh?
be bringing a plane in
What?
to land in a country, and they'd put 5 planes on the runway so you couldn't land the
Dude,
plane.
you signed
And
yourself
they'd
up, but
come
not
back
me.
with the people that they were bringing back. They don't do that with me.
The day I signed up for yesterday.
They don't do it. They accept them back.
At the same time.
They're not happy about it.
I'd already signed up for it.
I'll just
Got
do
a
it when I
record
get there.
number
You
of
can do it like in
regulations.
person.
I promised to eliminate 10 old regulations. For every one new regulation, instead we cut 129 old regulations for each one.
You just walk to like the middle.
I want to
Yesterday I
do
was like walking through the
last,
fucking gym with my
first
hockey
4
bag
years
and
I
shit.
did.
I was
When
so
we put on
lost.
a new regulation, you had to cut 8.
But yeah,
This year I said you have to cut 10. Instead, we
It's like
cut
over to the left.
129. So every time, so far.
Like instead of going to the main
Kinda like
entrance,
that,
you
I
go
don't imagine,
far
but
all the way left.
Because we have so
Like
much
keep going around the
wasted
building.
regulation, stupid regulations. Regulations where they go by California, which is a disaster state.
Through the front desk.
Where the
No, they
governor
have their own
truly
doors. Like you walk
doing
in,
a
you're
bad
straight in the
job.
ring.
It's killing that state.
Oh shit! All right.
If he ever ran the country, this country
So where
would
do
be
you park
Venezuela
just around the building then?
very quickly.
Yeah, it was
Using
right up front.
tariffs slash the U.S. trade deficit by an incredible 77%. The trade deficit is down.
Yeah, try and
And
get there
that
like
doesn't
at
include the
least
last month where we had
11:45.
our best month.
Yeah, because we need change and shit.
Yeah.
We slashed the trade deficit
bet.
by an incredible 77% in 1 year with no inflation. Something that everyone said could not be done. So we had essentially no inflation. In fact, the
I
last
don't know.
month
One
we
got
had
given to me. It's
almost
like
no inflation.
a
But
Bruins.
we
What? What's
slashed
it?
the trade deficit by 77%.
No.
If you slash it by
Is
1%,
Riches?
that was good.
That's
Again, we did that with tariffs.
hilarious.
Intelligence. We did that with November 5th. Great election.
My hockey.
We secured historic trade deals to reduce barriers on U.S. exports with countries covering 40% of all U.S. trade. Think of that. American exports
Who
are
gives a
up
fuck?
by
Nobody
more than
cares. Like
$150 billion this year.
I'm
People
so old.
said, "Oh, we're not an
It's
export." All we
easier.
do is
My rolling bag
buy.
I'd use a
If you
fucking
keep buying,
handbag.
you're not going to have a country for very long.
Hmm?
So we increased exports by more than
Fuck no.
$150 billion. Investment in American factories is up 41%. That's a record. Nobody goes 41% up. You go 2% up, 1% up. You go down by 3%.
Yeah.
If Kamala got elected, the 41%
You're
up
gonna
would be
swim?
41%
What the
down.
fuck? Why would you swim
We
after?
removed over 270,000 bureaucrats.
Why
from
would
the
you
federal
swim
bureau.
after?
That's another thing.
Because I need to. Because part of my
we
training,
have,
I need to
we
swim today.
announce
So I'm
That's
like,
fucking retarded.
our unemployment numbers. Call it unemployment or employment. And they were very good, but
Because he
we could make
swims.
them great. But we've slashed
I have to.
tremendous
fucking-
numbers of
Dude,
people
today's actually
off
such a
the
gay day. I have
federal
to go on a bike
payroll.
ride. I have to
Because
fucking
ultimately,
swim.
if you're on the federal payroll,
And
we have
hit
jobs where
legs
they had
as well.
10 people for every job.
Oh,
So we cut. Now, if
oh
you want to see
no.
some good numbers, I'll hire 1 million people. We cut
What we do?
millions of people off the federal payroll.
What's
I
that?
don't like doing that, but good news, I don't
Why
feel
don't you
badly
marathon?
because they're getting private sector jobs.
Like in May,
And
but I
they're
don't
getting
know if I'm going to be able to do
sometimes
it.
twice as much money, 3
Bruh.
times as much money. They're getting
That's
factory
so
jobs.
dumb.
They're getting much better
Because you're
jobs.
fucking
and much higher
retarded
pay.
going to sell your life
But
away?
all I have to do is say, like, what the Democrats do all the
Huh?
time. They hire 1 million people, and then they hire another million. They load it up, and it
My
says,
bad. That
oh,
was
they only have a
low-key,
3%
I was low-key
unemployment
ripping you.
rate. It's a fake rate. So with us,
Um,
we're proud of the fact that we cut so many because,
I'm-
again, I don't want to cut people. But when you
Yeah,
cut them and
I'm
they
just
go out
listening
and
to
get a
Trump
better
right now.
job, I like to cut
What's
them.
that?
Tune into the
And
stream. You
sometimes they
can
have
watch
to be
me
forced
listen to
to
Trump.
do that because
I'll die
they
your
want to
stream
stay
right
where they
now.
are. They don't know. And then all of a
Oh,
sudden
yeah.
they end up. We have many cases, Caroline, where people were
I have no
devastated.
viewers.
They hated Trump.
Nobody
I
watches. I
got
have 0
mud
viewers.
from my very
No, but
boring
dude,
federal
one
job, but
day,
it had
you never know. You
again
ever seen
sometimes
those like
10 people to
like
do
people
one
will
job,
find old tweets of
and they
politicians
were
and
very
like
upset. And then
like
I'm
after
not a
they
fucking
got the job,
politician.
they get paid 3
the
times
first
more
ever
money.
politics. I don't know,
They're
dude.
ending up
Yeah,
paying
I know what you're
Digital
talking
That's
footprints
about.
real.
crazy.
Digital
So
footprints
they went from not
real.
liking me to liking me a lot because it's
But
hard to get. We need
you
people.
might not have any
We
viewers right
need
now, but
people.
one
It's
day
one
if
of
you
the
have like a
reasons. I
million
mean, I want to.
and some
When you have good
YN is
people
fucking
in the farm or
going
good
through your
people in
very
hotels and
first
everything else, we want to work
He's
with
gonna
them as
crash
much
out
as
on
we
me.
can.
He's finna Swiss cheese my
Under
ass.
Biden,
just
1 out of 4
your police
jobs
switch
added
on
was a
what
government
days
job.
telling
Think of that.
Canada to go to fucking
25%
war
of the
with
jobs added. That's when you
Russia.
know that. That's 25% of jobs aren't real jobs.
Dude,
But again, I could do that. I could add 2
dude,
million
you know what
jobs and I
Canada
would have
just said?
an unemployed. I could
They,
take
they said they're
thousands
gonna
of people.
defend, like
I
they're
do the
gearing up to
opposite. I say
defend
get rid of
from
everybody that's
United States because
unnecessary
they're in
because that's
NATO
the way you make America
to
great
defend from
again.
United States
When you
going to
have
Greenland. Are they
all
fucking
these jobs
retarded?
where
We can't
people
even
sit
defend
around
like
doing nothing and they
we'll
get a
get,
lot
we'll
of
get
money
fucking rolled.
by the government, it's no good.
I
But
don't
that's what the
understand
Democrats
how
do.
this is
They
gonna
show,
work
oh, we
because
were
we
at
have like
4%
we're
unemployment. That's a good number.
we're
But
the
they,
we're partnered with the U.S. Like Canadian
Apparently,
Army,
somehow.
the Canadian Army trains with the U.S.
Hey, mister. Hey, mister.
No, you know what I mean? What?
Not anymore.
No, they do.
No, they
do,
don't.
yeah, they do. They go over and they do like special operations with them, and they fucking do.
Yeah,
training.
but not anymore, is what I'm saying.
Did they say that?
Yeah. I'm listening to an 11-hour Trump speech right now.
Dude, is it live or is it like an old one?
I looked up one this morning. I actually want to watch one this morning.
I don't know what's fucking going on.
Let's see. Okay, this is the actual one. Come listen to it.
Europe and those countries have to do their thing. They have to get out of.
Best hack for fucking. Do you make grilled cheeses at home ever?
Sometimes.
Dude, there's so
if I
many,
have
bro.
tomato
So
soup.
I'm doing it with a cheese bagel.
Dude,
cheese bagels
it
so
does sound kind of good.
Dude, it's so gas, bro. I'll make you one day when you come here.
Fuck, what's it? What's the ice called? Ice rink called?
Shane Holmes, YMCA.
YMCA Shane. Okay, I will leave in like 30 minutes. Takes me 40 minutes to get there.
Yeah. I will
Good
leave.
morning, Mr.
I might do a bike. Should I bike before it, or do you think it'll cook my legs?
It'll cook. Like it's actually a lot of cardio.
Like high intensity and shit.
Yeah. You have like 45 minutes. Don't fucking bike before. Or I guess you have like an hour.
True. Dude, I'm low-key hyped. Like I'm gonna be asked because I haven't played a hockey game in like literally since I was in grade 8.
Mm-hmm.
Like a proper game. And that was my first time skating with you. So fucking, when was that? Grade 8. How old was I? 13? 14? 14.
Something. I hope there's more ass dudes there today and not like no more sweats.
Why? Like, dude, because you're not bad at all. Like, they're so cute. Like,
yeah, like they're actually gross with their hands. like
with the hand, and they're
but one guy was actually getting mad, like literally not just trying to brag, but he was the best guy on the ice, and he kept trying to like toe drag it around me. Or go toe drag around the back through his legs around me, and every time I just perfectly catch it, like not even touch him at all. Just it was actually I did like 3 times in a row, and he's like, "Dude, what the fuck?"
Dude, he's trying to pull a Gavin McKenna, bro.
Yeah, I definitely know who that is.
Dude, he's good that you don't need to know. He's fucking dead. He's dead. Oh yeah, do you have that extra jersey so we can be on the same team?
Yeah, I do.
Black. Actually, get it right now so you don't forget.
It's already in my bag, bro.
Oh shit, on me.
It's kind of small. I don't know if it'll fit you. Does Jet or Rich not have a jersey? jersey?
I haven't checked yet, but dude, he's actually fucking sick right now. Him and Bella are like fucking dying.
What?
Yeah, yesterday, like it was like yesterday, or no, not all day yesterday. They were like,
Fuck, what'd I do?
So Rich didn't even go to work, and then the night before they went out like hot pot, I think, and I think it fucked them up, low key.
Dude. Fuck! What am I doing? I'm lost. I just entered like full screen of my shit. Fuck.
Yeah, they fucking. I don't think they haven't left the house. Since
Dude, I just
yesterday.
looked at my monitor. My monitor is fucking. Wait.
Yeah, but they're sick. They're dying. I was joking because I saw Rich last night. Like, he came up to make dinner or something. And I was like, dude, you're playing Andre Chanel.
Dude, how do I fucking enter or exit full screen?
Dude, I don't know, blood. Figure this shit out.
Bro, it told me F1 and then it fucking.
F1. I'm kidding. Don't do that.
Yeah.
I know. Or exit full screen or exit from application.
Exit full screen.
But dude, I don't think Andre's gonna be coming back this weekend, bro.
Dude, I don't know. No, it ain't even talking about what I'm talking about, you know? Fuck, dude, this is actually annoying. I hate. Hey, mister.
Why did we start streaming this morning? On God, I went onto YouTube when I woke up and you weren't streaming.
No, because Trump was speaking this morning, so I slept in. I was like, no, Trump, I don't want you furking my shit up. He was speaking of market open, so I was like, I'm gonna be a little sleepy.
Yes. Did you see his son Baron? Fucking
no.
shorted Bitcoin like a minute before fucking it like crashed, or it didn't crash, but it went down.
When was this? Wasn't this a while ago?
No, I thought it was like yesterday.
Oh, really? Honestly, that could definitely be.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was like a more. I should have
like
been in that short.
287 million, it said, but I don't know if it was fake news.
Yeah, that's fucked. That's fucked.
We keep our like, this is insider trading. It's like, obviously, bro.
No.
If that's the president, blood, what do you expect, dude? Like, we'd all be doing the same shit. Let's be honest here.
Yeah. True.
Can't hate the player, hate the game, blood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is true, yo. Okay, I'll text you when I'm leaving or something. Okay, peace out, nigga. Oh.
Hey, peace.
I'm getting banned.
The culture that they've created over the last 10 years, it's horrible what they're doing to themselves. They're destroying themselves. It's beautiful, beautiful places. We want strong allies, not seriously weakened ones. We want Europe to be strong. Ultimately, these are matters of national security, and perhaps no current issue makes the situation more clear than what's currently going on with Greenland. Would you like me to say a few words of Greenland? I was going to leave it out of the speech, but I think I would have been reviewed very negatively. I have tremendous respect for both the people of Greenland and the people of Denmark. Tremendous respect. But every NATO ally has an obligation to be able to defend their own territory. And the fact is, no nation or group of nations is in any position to be able to secure Greenland other than the United States. We're a great power, much greater than people even understand. I think they found that out 2 weeks ago in Venezuela. We saw this in World War II when Denmark fell to Germany after just 6 hours of fighting. and was totally unable to defend either itself or Greenland. So the United States was then compelled, we did it, we felt an obligation to do it, to send our own forces to hold the Greenland territory. And hold it we did, at great cost and expense. They didn't have a chance of getting on it, and they tried. Denmark knows that. We literally set up bases on Greenland for Denmark. We fought for Denmark. We weren't fighting for anyone else. We were fighting to save it for Denmark. Big, beautiful piece of ice. It's hard to call it land. It's a big piece of ice. But we saved Greenland and successfully prevented our enemies from gaining a foothold in our hemisphere. So we did it for ourselves also. And then after the war, which we won it big. Without us, right now you'd all be speaking German and a little Japanese, perhaps. After the war, we gave Greenland back to Denmark. How stupid were we to do that? But we did it. But we gave it back. But how ungrateful are they now? So now our country and the world face much greater risks than it did ever before because of missiles, because of nuclear, because of weapons of warfare that I can't even talk about. 2 weeks ago, they saw weapons that nobody ever heard of. They weren't able to fire one shot at us. They said, what happened? Everything was discombobulated. They said, we've got them in our sights. Press the trigger, and nothing happened. No anti-aircraft missiles went up. There was one that went up about 30 feet and crashed down right next to the people that sent it. They said, what the hell is going on? Those defensive systems were made by Russia and by China. So they're going to go back to the drawing boards, I guess. Greenland is a vast, almost entirely uninhabited and undeveloped territory. It's sitting undefended in a key strategic location between the United States, Russia, and China. That's exactly where it is, right smack in the middle. Wasn't important nearly when we gave it back. You know, when we gave it back, it wasn't the same as it is now. It's not important for any other reason, you know, everyone talks about the minerals. There's so many places. There's no rare earth. No such thing as rare earth. There's rare processing. But there's so much rare earth. And to get to this rare earth, you got to go through hundreds of feet of ice. That's not the reason we need it. We need it for strategic national security and international security. This enormous unsecured island is actually part of North America, on the northern frontier of the Western Hemisphere. That's our territory. It is therefore a core national security interest of the United States of America. And in fact, it's been our policy for hundreds of years to prevent outside threats from entering our hemisphere, and we've done it very successfully. We've never been stronger than we are now. That's why American presidents have sought to purchase Greenland for nearly 2 centuries. You know, for 2 centuries they've been trying to do it. They should have kept it after World War II, but they had a different president. That's all right. People think differently. Much more necessary now than it was at that time, however. In 2019, Denmark said that they would spend over $200 million to strengthen Greenland's defenses. But as you know, they spent less than 1% of that amount. 1%. There's no sign of Denmark there. And I say that with great respect for Denmark, whose people I love, whose leaders are very good. It's the United States alone that can protect this giant mass of land, this giant piece of ice, develop it and improve it and make it so that it's good for Europe and safe for Europe and good for us. And that's the reason I'm seeking immediate negotiations to once again discuss the acquisition of Greenland by the United States, just as we have acquired many other territories throughout our history, as many of the European nations have. They've acquired. There's nothing wrong with it. Many of them, some went in reverse, actually, if you look. Some had great, vast wealth, great, vast lands all over the world. They went in reverse. They're stuck back where they started. That happens too. but some grow. But this would not be a threat to NATO. This would greatly enhance the security of the entire alliance, the NATO alliance. The United States is treated very unfairly by NATO. I want to tell you that. And when you think about it, nobody can dispute it. We give so much and we get so little in return. And I've been a critic of NATO for many years. And yet I've done more to help NATO than any other president by far, than any other person. You wouldn't have NATO if I didn't get involved in my first term. The war with Ukraine is an example. We are thousands of miles away, separated by a giant ocean. It's a war that should have never started, and it wouldn't have started if the 2020 U.S. presidential election weren't rigged. It was a rigged election. Everybody now knows that. They found out. People will soon be prosecuted for what they did. It's probably breaking news, but it should be. It was a rigged election. You can't have rigged elections. You need strong borders, strong elections, and ideally a good press. I always say it. Strong borders, strong elections, free, fair elections, and a fair media. The media is terrible. It's very crooked. It's very biased, terrible. But someday it'll straighten out because it's losing all credibility. Think of it. When I went in a landslide, a giant landslide, won all 7 swing states, won the popular vote, won everything, and I only get negative press. That means that it has no credibility. And if they're going to get credibility, they're going to have to be fair. So you need a fair press. But you also need those other elements. And I inherited a terrible, terrible situation. If you look, the border was open. The inflation was raging. Everything was bad with the United States when I came into office. But I also inherited a mess with Ukraine and Russia, something that would have never happened. And I know Putin very well. He and I would discuss Ukraine. It was the apple of his eye, but he wasn't going to do anything. I said, Vladimir, you're not doing it. He would never have done it. It was terrible what happened. I could see it happening, too. After I left, I could see it happening. Biden had given Ukraine and NATO $350 billion, a staggering sum, $350 billion. I came in, and just like the southern border, just like inflation, just like our economy, I said, wow, this place is in trouble, meaning our country. All of these things were out of control. But the border was out of control. We fixed it with the strongest border anywhere in the world. And I've now been working on this war for 1 year, during which time I settled 8 other wars. India, Pakistan. I settled other wars that were Vladimir Putin called me, Armenia, Azerbaijan. He said, I can't believe you settled that one. They were going on for 35 years. I settled it in 1 day. And President Putin called me. He said, you know, I can't believe I worked on that war for 10 years trying to settle it. I couldn't do it. I said, do me a favor, focus on settling your war. Don't worry about that one. What does the United States get out of all of this work, all of this money, other than death, destruction, and massive amounts of cash going to people who don't appreciate what we do? They don't appreciate what we do. Talking about NATO, I'm talking about Europe. They have to work on Ukraine. We don't. The United States is very far away. We have a big, beautiful ocean separating us. We have nothing to do with it. Until I came along, NATO was only supposed to pay 2% of GDP. But they weren't paying. Most of the countries weren't paying anything. The United States was paying for virtually 100% of NATO. And I got that stopped. I said, that's not fair. But then, more importantly, I got NATO to pay 5%, and now they were paying, and now they are paying. So something nobody said was possible. They said, we will never go up higher than 2%. But they went to 5%, and now they're paying the 5. They didn't pay the 2, and now they're paying the 5. And they're stronger for it, and they have an excellent, by the way, Secretary General, who's possibly in the room. Mark, are you here? Yes, he's here. Hello, Mark. We never ask for anything, and and we never got anything. We probably won't get anything unless I decide to use excessive strength and force where we would be, frankly, unstoppable. But I won't do that. Okay? Now everyone's saying, oh, good. That's probably the biggest statement I made because people thought I would use force. I don't have to use force. I don't want to use force. I won't use force. All the United States is asking for is a place called Greenland, where we already had it as a trustee, but respectfully returned it back to Denmark not long ago after we defeated the Germans, the Japanese, the Italians, and others in World War II. We gave it back to them. We were a powerful force then, but we are a much more powerful force now. After I rebuilt the military in my first term and continue to do so today, we have a budget of $1.5 trillion. We're bringing back battleships. The battleship is 100 times more powerful than the great battleships you saw in World War II, those great, big, gorgeous ships, the Missouri, the Iowa, the Alabama. Because I thought maybe we could take them out of mothballs. They said, no, sir, these ships are 100, think of that, 100 times more powerful than those big, magnificent pieces of art that you saw so many times ago, that you still see on television. You say, wow, what a force. 100 times, each ship 100 times more powerful than the big battleships of the past. So that was the end of the mothball story. So what we have gotten out of NATO is nothing except to protect Europe from the Soviet Union and now Russia. I mean, we've helped them for so many years. We've never gotten anything, except we pay for NATO. And we paid for many years until I came along. We paid for, in my opinion, 100% of NATO because they weren't paying their bills. And all we're asking for is to get Greenland, including right title and ownership, because you need the ownership to defend it. You can't defend it on a lease. Number one, legally it's not defensible that way, totally. And number two, psychologically, who the hell wants to defend a license agreement or a lease, which is a large piece of ice in the middle of the ocean where if there is a war, much of the action will take place on that piece of ice. Think of it. Those missiles would be flying right over the center of that piece of ice. All we want from Denmark for national and international security and to keep our very energetic and dangerous potential enemies at bay is this land on which we're going to build the greatest Golden Dome ever built. We're building a Golden Dome that's going to, just by its very nature, going to be defending Canada. Canada gets a lot of freebies from us, by the way. They should be grateful also, but they're not. I watched your Prime Minister yesterday. He wasn't so grateful. But they should be grateful to us. Canada lives because of the United States. Remember that, Mark, the next time you make your statements. What we did for Israel was amazing, but that's nothing compared to what we have planned for the United States, Canada, and the rest of the world. We are going to build a dome like no other. We did it. We did it for Israel. And by the way, I told Bibi, stop taking credit for the dome. That's our technology. That's our stuff. But they had a lot of courage, and they were good fighters, and they did a good job, and we wiped out the Iran nuclear threat like nobody can believe. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. That, Venezuela, taking down Soleimani, wiping out al-Baghdadi when he tried to reinstitute ISIS. We did a lot. I did a lot of big things, all perfectly executed. Everyone was perfectly executed. Somebody told me that, a military expert told me, sir, everything you've done has been perfectly executed. I said, I know. So other presidents have spent, whether foolishly or not, trillions and trillions of dollars on NATO and gotten absolutely nothing in return. We've never asked for anything. It's always a one-way street. Now they want us to help them with Ukraine. And we say, we're going to. I'm really helping, not even them. I want to see, last week, If you saw, it was 10,000 soldiers, but last month it was 31,000 soldiers died. 31,000. That's this room times the number of people in this room times 30. Think of it. 30,000 soldiers died in 1 month. The month before it was 27,000. The month before that it was 28,000. The month before that it was 25,000. It's a bloodbath over there. And that's what I want to stop. It doesn't help the United States, but these are souls. These are young people. Look like you, look like some of you right in the front row. They go to war. Their parents are so proud. Oh, there he goes, comes back. 2 weeks later, they get a call. Your son's head's been blown off. I want to stop it. It's a horrible war. It's the worst since World War II. They keep going. They'll exceed World War II. The numbers are staggering, how many people they've lost. They don't want to talk about it. Ukraine and Russia lost just tremendous amounts. And I'm dealing with President Putin, and he wants to make a deal, I believe. I'm dealing with President Zelensky, and I think he wants to make a deal. I'm meeting him today. He might be in the audience right now. But they got to get that war stopped because too many people are dying, needlessly dying. Too many souls are being lost. It's the only reason I'm interested in doing it. But in doing it, I'm helping Europe, I'm helping NATO, and I've until the last few days when I told them about Iceland, they loved me. They called me daddy, right, last time. Very smart man said, he's our daddy. He's running it. I was like running it. I went from running it to being a terrible human being. But now what I'm asking for is a piece of ice, cold and poorly located, that can play a vital role in world peace and world protection. It's a very small ask compared to what we have given them for many, many decades. But the problem with NATO is that we'll be there for them 100%. But I'm not sure that they'd be there for us. If we gave them the call, gentlemen, we are being attacked. We're under attack by such and such a nation. I know them all very well. I'm not sure that they'd be there. I know we'd be there for them. I don't know that they'd be there for us. So with all of the money we expend, with all of the blood, sweat, and tears, I don't know that they'd be there for us. They're not there for us on Iceland, that I can tell you. I mean, our stock market took the first dip yesterday because of Iceland. So Iceland's already cost us a lot of money. But that dip is peanuts compared to what it's gone up. And we have an unbelievable future in that stock. That stock market is going to be doubled. We're going to hit 50,000, and that stock market's going to double in a relatively short period of time because of everything that's happening. But this is a good example. After giving NATO and European nations trillions and trillions of dollars in defense, they buy our weapons. We make the greatest weapons in the world, but now we're going to make them faster, much faster. You saw that. I put a cap on the salaries. Then I put no buybacks, no stock buybacks, no various other things that they were doing. I mean, they were making $50 million, but it would take them 3 years to give you a Patriot missile. I said, that's not good. My chauffeur can do a better job than that, and he makes slightly less than 50. They make big salaries. If they're going to make those big salaries, they're going to have to produce a lot faster. The good news is we have the greatest equipment in the world. Now we're going to start making it a lot faster. They're going to build additional plants. And all of the money that goes into stock buybacks is going to go into building plants. We're not allowing stock buybacks by defense companies any longer. They're going to build new plants to make Tomahawks, Patriots. We have the best equipment, F-35s. F-47, the new one just coming out. They say it's the most devastating plane, fighter jet ever. Who knows? They called it 47. If I don't like it, I'm going to take the 47 off it. I wonder why they called it 47. We'll have to think about that. But if I don't like it, I'm going to take that 47 off. But it's supposed to be the Stage 6. It's supposed to be the first Stage 6 plane, undetectable, like our B-2 bombers were undetectable. They flew right over Iran. They were undetectable. And they did their job, and they got the hell out of there. So we want a piece of ice for world protection, and they won't give it. We've never asked for anything else, and we could have kept that piece of land, and we didn't. So they have a choice. You can say yes, and we will be very appreciative, or you can say no, and we will remember. A strong and secure America means a strong NATO, and that's one reason why I'm working every day to ensure our military is very powerful, our borders are very strong, and above all, our economy is strong because national security requires economic security and economic prosperity, and we have the greatest that we've ever had. Biden and his allies destroyed our economy and gave us perhaps the worst inflation in American history. They say 48 years, I say forever, but I think 48 years is the equivalent to forever. Whether it's 48 years or ever, it's terrible, costing the typical family $33,000. What they did to this country should never, ever be forgotten. It's early, but he has to be rated as the worst president we've ever had by far. The auto pen did much of the damage. The auto pen, he was the auto pen president, because I don't believe a sane president would have ever signed the kind of things that he signed. Now grocery prices, energy prices, airfares, mortgage rates, rent, and car payments are all coming down, and they're coming down fast. We inherited a mess, but we've done a hell of a job in 12 months. Under my most favored nation policy for drug prices, the cost of prescription drugs is coming down by up to 90%, depending on the way you calculate. You could also say 5, 6, 7, 800%. There are two ways of figuring that. But we have a favored nations policy that every president wanted, no president was able to get. I got it, and other nations approved it. And I had to use tariffs in order to get it because they said, no way. In other words, a pill that costs 10% in London costs $130. Think it costs $10 in London, costs $130 in New York or in Los Angeles. And I'd say, boy, that's bad. Friends of mine would say, we go to London, you can buy the stuff for nothing. We go all over the world, we could buy it for nothing. Because basically America was subsidizing every nation in the world because presidents allowed them to get away with it. It became very tough. So when I called up Emmanuel Macron, I watched him yesterday with those beautiful sunglasses. What the hell happened? But I watched him sort of be tough. But he was at $10 for a pill. And I said, Emmanuel, and I have all the big pharmaceutical companies are in total agreement. It wasn't easy, by the way. They're tough, smart. They've been getting away with the scam for a long time. But they gave it up. But they
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome. I guess we don't have enough seats today. Wow. In the last quarter century, a sitting president of the United States has come to Davos only twice. Both times it was Donald Trump. So when I asked
Oh, this is the same thing. We got. Hey man, we got some curvature. I think. I remember seeing this shit yesterday. Look at that riding. No. I think chip into boom boom. Now we getting that curvature. We saw this yesterday, man. Let's see this curvature push. Now this is definitely interesting trade, but you know, we got our confluences. Some real market cipher traders trading, man. No. See that, John? Let's go, man. Let's go. Yeah, we could be not looking so good. Huh. Oh, it's so good. Yeah. Who the fuck shorting this been, man? Two songs, bro.
Yo, it's like trying to find my way. I'm still slanging out of states. From a kid, I've been paid. I used to hustle in the rain. Give a fuck about the fame. Monster hood, they know my name. AMG, I'm switching lanes. I got hustle in my veins. I take risks. Why do you think they call me TR? My hood's violent. We got smoke like shisha. Johnny's got raiders, so I'm slanging out of Nina. Block full of demons. Got a lick, so it's scheming. I burn a bridge and then I burn a zoo. Niggas gazy. I can't put my trust in you. Anyway, I know all the routes. Outside making money moves. Pull up in that collie 2 double R.
Alright.
My drip's too clean, they can't copy this. Mum found my pack, she told me stop this shit. But I'm way too deep, I can't stop go lit. I used to whip at my crib cause the block was lit. 5-figure pattern, caught my rollie straight from Hatton. Niggas rapping but they capping, they ain't never done a splashing. I could never be a has-been on my strip, I make it happen. Made a killing out of clapper, master fiends, I'm chatting. I run up mad figures, go ask about me. I made rats off the trap before I jumped on the beat. Fall for a score, fiends normally get free. I did too much mix, I gave them one for free. This ain't nothing but the truth. Think you're buzzing if you're running with my food. Caught that young and trying to run off with a tooth. I can't blame him cause I done it as a youth. So I put him on my phone and made him pay off what was due. I run that back. Gang, the streets cold so I stay protected. Arts about tea and respect. If there's a plug in the room, I'm connected. I watch a cat OD injected. The streets cold so I stay protected.
She wanna woo nigga. She wanna fuck with the woo. She wanna fuck with the woo. She wanna fuck
Fuck with the woo.